welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us on Nationwide today, reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. I am Ruth Aguela. We begin with the judiciary. The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal and the victories of Governors Abdullahi Umar Ganduje of Kano State and the five-man panel of justice, led by Justice Sylvester Nguta, gave the verdict this Monday. The Apex Court said the appellants in the matters failed to prove the alleged overvoting in the elections conducted on the 9th of March 2019, which resulted into rerun. The court maintained that since the appellants failed to prove their case, it has no option than to dismiss the appeals and the court appeal in the Kano matter for lacking in merit. And still on another judgment, the Federal High Court, Abuja, has dismissed a suit seeking the disqualification of Kogi Governor Yahaya Bello from the 2019 Kogi governorship election on allegedly double registration as a voter. Justice Yang Eko held that the plaintiff lacked jurisdiction to file the suit. Olabade Arewa has all the details.
Shakpoti was the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party in the November 29 Kogi election. She alleged that on 23rd of May 2017, Yahaya Bello registered as a voter in Lokoja, having also registered in Abuja in 2011. The court, taking into consideration Section 24 and Section 81 of the Electoral Act of 2010, said it was clear that the plaintiff, Natasha Akpoti, was not a prosecuting authority. Therefore, she lacked jurisdiction to institute the suit.
The court said by virtue of the fact that the section speaks on criminal issues, you as an individual without a fiat of a prosecuting body cannot file action or civil action to claim that one be punished under the law.
Counsel to Natasha Akpoti declined to speak on the matter. The APC, INEC and Governor Yahaya Bello were joined in the suit as defendants. In Abuja, Olabode, NTA News.
All right, let's take you back to the report we called earlier on the Supreme Court judgment on Kano and Sokoto State. We have a guest joined us in the studio. He's a legal practitioner, Justin Johnson Usman, to shed light on the judgment. We're pleased to have you join us on Nationwide.
Thank you very much.
Now, you're aware, of course, of the judgment. What is your take talking about the Kano State and Sokoto judgment?
My take on the judgment of the Supreme Court as it regards the governorship elections of Kano State and Sokoto State, to my mind, are unassailable judgments. And I say this with the greatest respect to other legal minds, that from the facts available in the two petitions filed, there is no way any reasonable person will fault the judgment just delivered by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So, to me, the judgment is sound.
Okay, and what would be your expectations? Bauchi and Plateau are still being awaited?
It will be speculative and premature for me to go into the mind of the justices of the Supreme Court as to what they will say in these two cases.
Considering what has played out so far?
Yes, I still maintain my stand that I won't be competent to comment on the judgment about to be delivered. It is not good for me to do so. Okay. But for the one delivered, I've given you my mind and my opinion, and I stand with the Supreme Court on the judgment of Sokoto.
Okay, but what would you say regarding appeals like this after elections?
Appeals to the Court of Appeal and to the Supreme Court is a matter of rights, especially in election matters. The Constitution of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, has given unfettered right to petitioners to file their petitions and to anyone who is aggrieved with the decision of the tribunal to appeal to the Court of Appeal and to the Supreme Court as it regards the governorship election. So, anyone who decided to ventilate his anger, grievances at the appeal courts are doing what the Constitution allowed them and enjoined them to do. So I don't have any problem with anyone who decided to appeal. Rather, litigants should be encouraged to appeal instead of taking laws into their hands. So I stand with anyone who decided to appeal to the Court of Appeal.
Okay, so what does this mean to our democracy?
The judgments of the Supreme Court just delivered will also embolden our electoral jurisprudence and democracy, in the sense that for those who contest election, they know that they can approach the courts to seek for a redress, to seek for justice. And the courts are there to give justice according to the case presented before them. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we are quick, and I'm sorry to say this, we are quick to judge or adjudge the outcome of a judicial pronouncement without knowing the facts presented to the court.
So how would this reflect
For instance, the Imo judgment that has caused a lot of brouhaha, if you know the nitty-gritty and the fact presented before the tribunal to the Court of Appeal and to the Supreme Court, probably you have a different view from what is being circulated on social media. So, for anyone to join in saying what the courts have said, it's always proper to at least read the fact of the case.
Okay, on a final note, I know a lot of people, all they want is justice.
Yes.
So how would you see the performance of our judiciary?
The performance of our judiciary, in my mind, is commendable and above average.
Okay.
But there is room to do more. Because justice must be justice according to the dictate of justice, and not justice according to the dictates of the public opinion. What we want, what Nigerians want, and what we like to hear is justice according to public opinion, and not justice according to law. So, my advice is God should give our judges, our justices, the wisdom to do justice according to justice, and justice according to law, and not justice according to emotions and public opinion.
All right, thank you very much. And also, Plateau and Bauchi are also waiting the verdict.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Barrister
welcome.
Johnson Osman.
Yeah, most welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
We have been speaking with Barrister Johnson Osman, who has been shedding light on the Supreme Court judgment over Kano and Sokoto state governors. All right, let's move on to another development in regard to that. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje has invited opposition People's Democratic Party candidate in the last gubernatorial election, Abba Kabir Yusuf, to join him in taking the state to the next level of development. Ganduje was reacting to the Supreme Court judgment that validated his election. Let's hear from Abdullahi Mustafa.
Soon after the Supreme Court's affirmation of Dr. Ganduje's election as governor of Kano State, APC supporters took over the government house premises to celebrate. The celebration wasn't only in the premises.
It's an important milestone for the people of Kano. It's an important step for the consolidation of the second term of His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje.
For Governor Ganduje, it is a moment to reconcile and face the challenge ahead.
So that everybody will come on board. We're appealing to the people of Kano State to celebrate in a peaceful manner. And those who belong to the opposition, we're appealing to them to come together with us. We are all products of democracy. We are all the people of Kano State. So we need to come together so that we work for the people of Kano State. We have important programs for development, which we need the cooperation of everybody. Our program of free and compulsory education requires the contribution of everybody. Our program of peace and stability, that is security, we need the cooperation of everybody.
He appealed to people in the state to support the APC government's developmental programs that will take Kano to the next level. Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And moving away from all the judgments, the Group Managing Director, NNPC Mele Kyari, has confirmed that 5 people lost their lives, with others sustaining various degrees of burns following a fire outbreak caused by a pipeline explosion at Ile-Ekpo area of Egba in Lagos. In a chat with journalists during an on-the-spot assessment of the inferno, the Group Managing Director, who described the incident as an act of vandalism, said NNPC and security agencies such as DSS, Police, the Nigerian Navy and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense are working to ensure that the unpatriotic behavior is nipped in the bud.
And all all other agencies of security, including the Department of State Service, to contain this to bare minimum. What this portends is danger for all of us. If these incidents had happened under a windy condition yesterday, we would have been talking about thousands of people dying in this place. And therefore, we do need the help and cooperation of all members of community to expose this when they come. It is not secret. As you can see, the point where this fire started is the visibility of everybody around here. And that means that we saw it, we didn't do anything, and this is the result that we are seeing. We are hoping and counting on Nigerians to help us resolve this, because this is a major national security concern.
Supplies petroleum products from Mosemi to Ilorin was alleged to be vandalized by vandals who siphoned the products. And from Lagos, let's head straight to Enugu to join Mina to bring us more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Mina. It's good to see you.
Enugu Network Center. As a way of giving back to their alma mater, the UNTA School of Nursing Alumni USA and the Nigerian arm of the Alumni Association has handed over some completed projects and laboratory equipment to the school's management. During the handover ceremony, the Chief Medical Director, UNTH, Dr. Binna Onodugo, assured the alumni that he will take the institution to enviable heights. Judah Bugu has the details.
Projects executed by the alumni include the rehabilitation of the water borehole in the school, the tiling of the toilet ends of the hostel, and fixing of nets in all the hostel doors and windows. The president, UNTH School of Nursing Alumni in Diaspora, Dr. Pat Ukiwe, while handing over the project, noted that at 49, the school has a lot of structures and facilities that need upgrade and repair, hence the intervention by the alumni.
The climax of these projects is the water borehole with reservoir that water is available and running 24/7.
The alumni also renovated the school's auditorium, the library complex, and equipped the school's e-library with computers and internet facilities. The CMD thanked the alumni for having the interests of their alma mater at heart.
We want Ituku to be a community. What we mean by that is that we want the patients to be in the wards. We want the staff to also reside in Ituku. We want to have market. We want to have churches. We want to have schools.
High point was the presentation of the skills mannequins donated by the alumni for demonstration and practicals. Some guests and friends of the alumni commended them for the gesture.
And I'm very proud and very impressed with the work that has been done, what I'm witnessing today.
I was very pleased about the water fountain. Thing we take for granted in the United States, but it is something that we need here. The electricity, things again we take for granted, but it is a necessity here. So I congratulate and I really appreciate what the alumni and students have done.
In Enugu, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
The Enugu State Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, has expressed gratitude to the workers in the state for their prayers and support to his administration, assuring them that their welfare is top on government's priority list. The governor was speaking at the prayer rally organized by the Labour to commit the government and the state into the hands of God. Susan Eze has details.
Songs of praises rent the air at the State Secretariat as the workers praised God for the grace to see 2020. Joining the workers at the prayer rally, Governor Ugwuanyi thanked them for their support, prayers, and love for him, which he said was demonstrated during the last election through their overwhelming votes that saw him to victory. He assured the workers that government is committed to their welfare. Grateful to God for the industrial harmony in Enugu State, Chairman of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN Enugu Chapter, Bishop Godwin Madu, prayed for God's guidance upon the governor.
Father, I pray, grant our government sound mind for sound decision. In the name of Jesus.
Prayers were also offered for the President, Muhammadu Buhari, and for the peace and security of the country. The prayer rally is an annual event by the workers. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
A multiple accident at Ukbo along Enugu-Onitsha Expressway has claimed 1 life and 5 others injured. Daniel Obai has the details of the report.
The accident involved a tipper, a Honda CRV, and a tanker laden with petroleum motor spirit (PMS). The accident was said to have occurred when the driver of the Honda CRV with registration number Lagos GGE 309FK tried to overtake the tanker laden with premium motor spirit (PMS) and collided with the tipper. The trailer skid off the road and fell into a nearby gully. At the time of filing this report, men of the Federal Road Safety Corps and other security agencies were on ground to convey the victims to a hospital, while efforts were being made to remove the corpse of the occupants of the Honda CRV. In Oka, Daniel Okbai, NTA News.
And that's a bit from the Enugu Network Center. It's back to you, Ruth, for a continuation of Nationwide.
Many thanks, Mina, and welcome back to Abuja, but we have to pause for a break. We'll be back shortly, so don't go anywhere.
This year, the weather conditions Harmattan in Nigeria is harsh, with temperature dropping very low in some parts of the country. Many underprivileged children are exposed to these harsh weather conditions, putting them at risk to all sorts of respiratory infections with devastating consequences. We request well-meaning Nigerians to kindly donate warm clothing, blankets, beverages, soap, moisturizers, and other essential items for the benefit of these children. Get involved to support displaced and underprivileged children exposed to these harsh weather conditions. Powered by Aisha Buhari Foundation.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down.
Do you have a job where you're going to? No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Alinko.
Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile.
Are you a business owner struggling to find your way? Smithen is the answer. The Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria is here to help you succeed and gives you entrepreneurship training that will make your business grow big. It can create access to finance. Smithen can help you prepare a good feasibility study and link you up with the finance institutions that would fund your business. It can also create access to market through local and international trade fairs, opportunity fairs, and exhibitions. Smithen also organizes programs to identify innovative entrepreneurs and promote their business ideas. For further information, contact us at Plot 35, Port Harcourt Crescent, Area 11, Garki, Abuja, or visit our website www.smithen.gov.ng or any of our state offices in the 36 states of the Federation.
Many thanks for staying with us. The recent decision by 8 French-speaking ECOWAS nations to rename the CFA as ECO has been described as a wake-up call for Nigeria to revive her can-do spirit and put her economy in order. Guest on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria, this Monday called for deep analysis of the unfolding situation and urged the federal government not to completely rule out these countries. Let's hear from Lydia Sampson.
The recent rejection by the West African Monetary Zone of the announcement by 8 Francophone member states to rename the CFA ECO has continued to elicit various reactions across the region. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria are unanimous that Nigeria need not rush into any decision. They described the announcement by Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara as having ulterior motive with a French economic conspiracy as the hands behind the scene driving the process.
What has happened with the French bringing the French-speaking countries and then taking this decision is part of the continuation of the economic coup by France against Nigeria. Nigeria is a dominant country in West Africa. That's nothing anybody can do about that. It's a reality. In terms of size, in terms of strength, in terms of the can-do spirit of an average African, you find it in a Nigerian. And the fact that even in the absence of normal, informal economic indices, Nigerians are trading all over West and Central Africa.
Clearly, that if we can play right, this might be an opportunity for us to be able to reverse, the fortunes of Africa as a continent. But if we play into the hands of these people, I see us losing, more than we're going to gain by this just very simple, loud no.
While some are of the view that Nigeria should outrightly opt out, others called for more engagement before a final decision.
A situation whereby the Francophone group has hijacked the name ECO without consultation in whatever form with the entire body of ECOWAS. For me, it's a kind of coup d'etat.
We are not oblivious of what France has been doing with all the Francophone countries and, of course, taking opportunities and taking advantage of most of their needs in the past.
They all agree the economic crisis brewing in the continent will not go away in a long time, but cautioned against completely dropping the idea of a regional currency, which they argue, if properly handled, can lead to price and monetary stability. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Let's go to Scotland now, where we hear issues relating to environmental preservation and sustainability for job and economic prosperity dominated discussions as Charles, the Prince of Wales, played host to President Muhammadu Buhari in Scotland. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari was in Scotland on a special invitation of the Prince of Wales and heir apparent to the throne of the British monarchy, Prince Charles Arthur George. Simply put, it was a befitting reciprocal honor as the Prince of Wales and his wife were hosted in Abuja by the Nigerian leader in November 2018. During the closed-door engagement that lasted 1.5 hours, President Muhammadu Buhari and Prince Charles deliberated extensively on climate change, its devastating consequences on the environment, and sustainable responsive measures.
The major takeaway is essentially that the Prince is now committed to helping to, first of all, get experts into Nigeria to assist in certain areas such as reforestation, which is a priority for us, and also ultimately helping mobilizing investors. The strategy that the Prince really emphasized was a possibility of bringing together huge investors. He talked about having the largest pool or conglomerate of investors ever in the world who would be able to carry out actions that will be, friendly to the environment, but as I said, in a sustainable way.
Challenges associated with the receding lake chart the farmers' hardest crisis and other environmental issues confronting Nigeria were critically analyzed and suggestions made on the best way forward. President Buhari and the Prince of Wales also discussed the role the Commonwealth can play towards mitigating the impact of climate change on member nations.
The Prince of Wales, as you know, he is now the head of the Commonwealth, and the next summit of the Commonwealth will be in Kigali in Rwanda in the middle of the year, and looking at very concrete strategies to start addressing, some of these environmental challenges, and the possibility of setting up specialist councils of countries that would provide skilled resources addressing different aspects of preserving the environment, but preserving it, as I said, in a sustainable way. It does not have to be an endeavor that just drains countries of financial resources.
Others on President Buhari's entourage to Scotland include Nigeria's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and his Chief of Staff, Abubakari. From Glasgow, Scotland, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is rolling out a plan of UK-Britain to becoming Africa's investment partner of choice. The Prime Minister organised a summit taking place in London on Monday aimed at boosting post-Brexit trade with the continent. 22 African countries are participating in the summit, including President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria. The Prime Minister is seeking to recruit British businesses to invest in Africa, complementing a drive to repurpose the overseas aid budget in the service of trade.
These are the opportunities that are before us here today. Let's build the partnership for the future. And together, let us write the next chapter for my country, for your country, and above all, for all the peoples of our country.
Earlier on, we had in our Panorama studio an economist, Terfa Abraham, who analyzed the summit from the Nigerian perspective.
There's a good news for Nigeria. The president became the president of the Commonwealth Enterprise Investment Council since 2015. So for Nigeria, considering its share of GDP in sub-Saharan Africa, the president has gone there with a full commitment to ensure that Nigeria benefits in this trade. But importantly, for us to grow our share of agricultural trade with the UK, we must work on value chain development, packaging, product screening, and ensure that quality products are supplied out there.
Terfa Ibrahim there analysing the perspective for Nigeria at the summit in UK. All right, back home, let's talk peace as the federal government intensify efforts in winning the war against banditry, robbery, kidnapping and other forms of insecurity. Religious leaders believe communal engagement remains a tool to reducing the menace to the barest minimum. At a media briefing by the Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace, the religious leaders disclosed that politics and religion are beginning to pose an emerging threat to the nation's democracy, hence the need for all Nigerians to focus on togetherness, justice and reconciliation.
And we've seen through the years, dialogue always wins the war. And place of table of reconciliation heals. It's always important to get back to the table for discussions. This is the time to find out those who are angry, those who are frustrated. Can we bring them in and listen to them?
They also noted that the fight against insurgency in some parts of the country should be a collective one through citizens' engagement in uncovering unscrupulous elements in society to foster progress, economic stability and equity.
62 people. That is what you call patriotism at its zenith. His life was at stake, but he believes that he should be part of the solution and not part of the problem. This is the kind of things we are talking about, that all of us must collaborate, all of us must cooperate to find a lasting solution to this problem.
I'm very hopeful that if we can cross our T's and dot our I's and do the necessary things we should do as a country, as we can get there.
The interfaith group also explained that efforts are being made by government to ensure that the likes of Leah Sharibu and Khan chairman of Adamawa State chapter, Reverend Lawan Andimi, is rescued from the Boko Haram captivity. In other news, the post-crisis management of Boko Haram insurgency by the federal government is the right step in the right direction in the fight against insurgency. This is the impression of the North-East Development Commission on a visit to the de-radicalization, reorientation and reintegration camp in Malam Sidi, Gombe State. Zara Umar Adamu has details.
The visit of the North-East Development Commission to de-radicalization camp under the Operation Safe Corridor is to assess the facilities at the camp and to interact with the clients and other staff. The camp, which has de-radicalized 893 clients since its establishment in April 2016, is not without challenges, with the highest number of ex-combatants presently undergoing the program.
As an outfit, we have also been engaging in outreach, free medical outreach, and other civil-military relationship to foster this cordial relationship that we're having with the people of Gombe.
10 kVA electric generator for camp cleaning and release of funds for running and maintenance of electric power generators, constant purchase of PMS or HU, purchase of motorized chair and limbs for physically challenged clients.
The Managing Director of the North-East Development Commission, Mr. Muhammad Gwani Al-Kali, assures of continued support to the success of the program.
It's a key partner in what we are doing in the commission. So our coming here has shown us what they're doing here, and they've told us their own problems, what are the challenges. And our role now is to find out how we can be able to solve some of these problems so that they can receive more clients here, and they also expand their activities here.
The clients, who could not hide their joy for giving them the opportunity for transformation into better citizens, appreciated the federal government for the program. 618 ex-combatants are presently undergoing the de-radicalization program. Zara Umar Adamu, NTA News.
Let's go to Sokoto, where Sadia Umar Digi is standing by to bring us more reports from that end. And I'm sure we'll also get reactions to the Supreme Court judgment reaffirming the victory of the state governor. Hello, Sadia. Let's hear from you.
Hello, Ruth. Welcome to Sokoto. With the Supreme Court's decision to uphold the election of Aminu Waziri Tambuwal as governor of Sokoto State, Musa Abubakar is standing by to bring us up to speed on the mood of Sokoto town.
Well, the mood at the government house Sokoto here is that of jubilation as people gather to celebrate the decision of the Supreme Court that affirmed Governor Tambuwal as the Sokoto State. This is coming after months of legal battle challenging his victory at the court and in the Supreme Court.
We are glad that victory went to the person that we think deserves the victory.
This victory didn't come from us, it came from Almighty Allah, and we have to be thankful of that.
Many here with this victory comes with a lot of expectations.
Government policy and other programs we are expecting much better. As the governor expects him to implement his programs regarding youth empowerment, job creation, women, and infrastructure.
Sokoto Metropolis remain calm with its usual hustle and bustle. Public offices, markets, shops remain open for business. There are, however, several Tambuwal processions seen in several parts of the town. It's back to you, studio.
Thank you, Musa. Now, the Fulani leaders in Zamfara State have reaffirmed their solidarity to the ongoing peace initiative in the state. They were speaking at a stakeholders meeting organized by the Zamfara State Peace Committee. Haliru Muhammad Umar reports.
The meeting between the Zamfara State Peace Committee and the Fulani leaders held in Gusau was aimed at reviewing the reconciliation process and the way forward. Participants at the meeting include traditional leaders of the Fulani groups and those of NTA Cattle Breeders Association from across the 14 local government areas of the state, as well as representatives of the security agencies. Speakers at the event spoke on the positive impact of the peace process, which commenced about 7 months ago, and the prevailing challenges. The Fulani leaders, who reiterated their solidarity to the peace initiative, said they would champion the cause of consolidating the feat achieved so far. They, however, stressed the need for enhanced synergy amongst the government and the security agencies in Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina, Kaduna, and Niger states in the ongoing fight against the bandits. Zamfara State Commissioner of Security and Home Affairs Alhaji Abubakar Muhammad Dauran underscored the significant role being played by the Fulani leaders towards the attainment of lasting peace in the state and charged them to keep it up. He said the state government will continue with the roadmap to achieving lasting peace in the state, as the repentant bandits have resolved to assist security operatives in dealing with the deviants among them. In Gusau, Halil Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Sokoto. It's now back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Sadia. Let's look at security. Katsina State Police Command has killed 2 kidnappers and rescued a victim of kidnapping after engaging in a gun duel at Yartalata village in Malumfashi local government area of the state. Abdul Malik Hassan reports that the police also apprehended a kidnapper at the scene of the incident.
The rescued victim was abducted at his residence at Government Girls Secondary School Malumfashi staff quarters of Malumfashi local government area of Katsina State, with 50 million naira ransom demanded for his release. However, the incident took a different dimension when the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Katsina State Police engaged the kidnappers in a gun battle at Yartalata village of Malumfashi to rescue the victim. In the course of the gun duel, the police shot to death 2 kidnappers and 1 was arrested, while others escaped. The State Commissioner of Police, Sanusi Buba, reiterated commitment of the command in the fight against kidnapping, cattle rustling, and other heinous crimes.
We are determined, more than ever before, to deal decisively with any individual or group of individual criminals who may decide to contemplate testing the will of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State, will be severely dealt with.
He called on the public to always support and cooperate with the command in the ongoing fight against the criminal activities. The rescued victim narrates his audio.
I spent up to 2 weeks there. Pick phone, called my uncle. Now talk to me. Now tell my uncle that if they did not send money, 50 million, they will not bail me out. They were feeding me with bread and mineral the whole stay. I can't move because my legs were chained.
It could be recalled that the state government has restricted the movement of motorcycles from 7 in the evening to 6 o'clock in the morning, all in another giant stride to address the security challenges bedevailing the state. In Katsina, Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
Another break, we'll be back shortly, so please stay tuned.
My name's Mr. Muftau Abiodun Balogun. We started this business 4 years ago, and this is the production outlet where we do about 4,000 to 5,000 birds per day. With the closure of the border recently, we've been experiencing massive surge in demand. Our sales per day now is going to be between 15 to 20,000 birds. We needed to expand all avenues because of the multiplier effect it's creating. And the most interesting thing about this closure is that many of my farmers today are farmers we recruited recently, and they are young graduates. What the government is doing will lead us right. And I can tell you, if the government sustains this thing, sky will not even be our limit.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it. This is a public service announcement from NTA. Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
And you're in the right place. Thanks for staying tuned. The federal government is to work out modalities to set up and strengthen the legal basis for the franchise administration being administered by the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion (NOTAP). Minister of State, Science and Technology Mohammed Abdullahi confirmed this. Among other plans and objectives the ministry hopes to achieve this year, which are essentially focused towards energizing the Nigerian market and economy for job and wealth creation. He said most franchise that comes into Nigeria comes with a lot of baggage and therefore needs proper regulation. He commended NOTAP, an agency under the ministry, which has been able to establish and check the franchise in a manner that it develops local content and creates jobs.
So we want to strengthen that legal framework for franchise in terms of regulation so that every other franchise that will come to Nigeria must be able to adapt, to local content, in such a manner that it will comply with the executive order number 5, which provided that virtually whatever contract we're going to do in the country now, it should have some local content to ensure that our engineers, our experts, are given the necessary support, to also exhibit their skills and talent.
Regarding funding, research and development results for commercialization, the minister said the ministry will be exploring the option of engaging venture capitalists.
I'm going to focus in 2020 on this interface, with commercial ventures, with very non-patent holders, to ensure that we commercialize these findings in such a manner that the industry will benefit.
Minister of State, Science and Technology there speaking on the proposed franchise with NOTAP. In other news, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is one of the recipients of awards presented to individuals who have positively impacted on the lives of the Nigerian public. The award was given at the 2020 valedictory ceremony of graduating law students of Igbinedion University, Okada, Edo State. Ifoma Okafo has details.
The graduates were excited and beaming with smiles, cheering as they received intermittent words of advice from the different speakers. The messages of the Vice Chancellor of Igbinedion University, Professor Lawrence Ezemonye, and other speakers were centered on the nobility of the law profession, which they believe can transform lives, protect the oppressed, and help build the nation.
Your first job may not be your career. Most of you will start jobs, but change them at least once, maybe twice, or even more. Stand firm for the truth always. And you now have the opportunity to become leaders.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, who was presented by the Zonal Director, NTA Benin Network Center, Pauline Igbano, also believes that it is imperative that the graduates assert themselves in ethics of the profession to shape the future of the legal profession in Nigeria.
Alhaji Lai Mohammed, it is service to the country, service to humanity. You can see the dedication, the seriousness, the discipline and the humility that he carries out his assignment.
Then came the award presentation to deserving individuals. Among them is the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, for his contributions to the nation's development. From Igbinedion University, Okada, Ifoma Okafo, NTA News.
Reports just reaching us says With Africa widely acknowledged as the global future, given its vast potentials for economic prosperity, the United Kingdom says it is better positioned to play a huge and active role in that future. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson gave this assurance at the opening of the first ever UK-Africa Investment Summit in London. President Muhammadu Buhari led Nigeria's delegation to the summit, also attended by dozens of African and British leaders. We'll definitely bring you details of this report in our subsequent bulletin. In another development, there are strong indications that the federal government is not in a hurry to reopen the nation's land borders partially closed by the federal government since August last year to check smuggling activities. President Muhammadu Buhari, who dropped this hint, while playing host to the Nigerian community in London, however, maintains that the action was not aimed at punishing the country's neighbors. Let's hear from State House correspondent Adamu Sambo.
Amongst those representing the Nigerian community in the United Kingdom at the interactive session was the reigning world heavyweight boxing champion, Nigeria's Anthony Joshua, who made a symbolic presentation of his 4 belts to the Nigerian leader. President Buhari used the opportunity to appreciate members of the diaspora community for making Nigeria proud in their various fields of endeavor, as well as significantly contributing to the nation's economy through their remittances. The president thereafter brought his guest up to speed on his administration's genuine efforts at taking Nigeria to the next level in fulfillment of pre-election promises. The closure of the nation's land borders, for instance, he said, was in furtherance of government's commitment towards securing the country and stabilizing the economy for a sustainable future.
My aim of closing the border is not to punish my neighbors, but to take stock of what we need to do economically and security-wise, to stop coming drugs, to stop coming arms, among others, to be in charge of our country. We found out the farmers were celebrating and were asking me to keep the borders closed. In fact, I warned the governor of Central Bank. I said, if he gave a cent to anybody importing food, me and him, we can produce what we eat, and that we are doing in Nigeria, and we don't regret it. We are saving hundreds of millions of dollars, for importing food. Some of it I know is fraudulent.
The president also promised to sustain efforts at ensuring that the nation's assets illegally taken away by those who do not mean well for the country are fully recovered and effectively utilized for public good.
Anybody that is caught, we will make sure that he is tried, no matter how long it will take for him, and whatever belongs to the public, we get it back.
Speaker after speaker at the event described President Muhammadu Buhari as a godsend to Nigeria and promised every support and assistance to the nation's upward trajectory for greater tomorrow.
This is one head of state or president that Nigeria will never and must never forget.
So thank you for continuing to sacrifice for a country that everybody says is doomed.
And hopefully by the time you leave office, it will be difficult to go back to our old days.
If there's anything that you guys need me for, I'll stand up for Nigeria. For sure.
The president is doing a lot, and all Nigerians, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of religion, must unite to support this president so that he can lead us to the greatness that we all desire and deserve.
What next after this kind of engagement with the president?
They're all interested in investing in their country. We create a platform to make that happen. Nigerians in the UK control over £100 million economy. Billions that can, we need to work together. So we keep passing the message from Mr. President, let's work together to build a Nigeria of our dream.
President Buhari is in London for the UK-Africa Investment Summit starting on Monday. From London, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And back home, let's look at religious affairs. The virtues of Islam was in focus as the Islamic Education Trust celebrate Golden Jubilee in Mina, Niger State. The 15th anniversary had in attendance the Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, Esu Nupe Yahya Abubakar, and the first military governor of Niger State, Admiral Murtala Nyako. Mukhtar Abubakar will tell us more.
Dignitaries, friends and associates
as well as the beneficiaries of the Islamic Education Trust, converged in the celebration of the organization's achievements, reflecting on its beginning, present, and the future. The core purpose of establishing the Islamic Education Trust, IET, rests with the Dawah Institute of Nigeria, and the basic aims include public enlightenment, capacity building of other Islamic organizations and individuals involved in Dawah, interfaith bridge building for peaceful coexistence, striving for greater social justice, promoting faith-based critical thinking, preventing violent extremism, and promoting the rights of women in Islam. The Emir of Kano stressed the need for the understanding of various aspects of Islam and what is more important during da'wah for proper comprehension.
What part of Islamic law, what verse in the Quran, what hadith of the Prophet allows a father to give birth to a child and leave the child to go and fend for himself?
Late Sultan Abubakar III, late Lamido of Adamawa Aliyu Mustafa, and the first military governor of Niger State, Admiral Murtala Inyaku, among other personalities, were recognized for their contributions towards the development of the Islamic Education Trust.
Any education without moral rectitude associated with it, any life without moral rectitude is an empty life.
The Islamic Education Trust was founded in Sokoto in 1969 by Sheikh Ahmed Lemu, late Hajia Aisha Lemu, and late Al-Haji Sani Ashafa Suleiman of blessed memory. In Mina, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
And talking sports, Plateau United returns to #1 position in the Nigerian Professional Football League as 7